Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 229 based on novel. So let's start. In the space surrounded by the power of blue-yellow holy flame, a man full of blackened beams kept screaming, obviously quite miserable. Damn! Damn! Xiao Yan clenched his teeth, trying not to let himself scream, but every time a huge force emerged from the corpse pill to impact life and death, the pain that went deep into the bone marrow and even the soul, Xiao Yan was shocked. Crash. And after the time passed, it was 3 days. For 3 days, Xiao Yan was suffering from this inhuman torture all the time. If it wasn't for the protection of the holy flame, Xiao Yan would have already passed out from this high-intensity pain. But what Xiao Yan didn't expect was that every time he was close to the limit, blue flames burst out from his heart like rainbows after rain, constantly nourishing his body and even repairing his own injury. Xiao Yan knew that this was what Mu Yingying did, but Mu Yingying had already turned into Xiao Yan's heart at this time. This move was obviously instinctive. 3 days. It's time to succeed. Xiao Yan temporarily suppressed other thoughts, and then mobilized the huge source of blue-yellow holy flame in his body to directly attack the corpse pill for the last time. Boom boom boom. Under Xiao Yan's control, the source power of the blue-yellow holy flame went directly to the corpse pill in the body. The energy contained in the corpse pill is worthy of being praised as a treasure that is enough to help the strong Do-Di break through the Do-Di. Even in 3 days, with the refining level of Xiao Yang's burning dew, it is still not completely refined. The corpse pill at this time, about the size of a fingertip, is undoubtedly several times smaller than 3 days ago, and Xiao Yang's purpose is to completely refine the last power of the corpse pill, so as to make his own power of life and death that is almost fused successfully. Go one step further. The fusion of life and death, the achievement of fighting immortals. Death to this emperor. Xiao Yan just found the corpse pill, and then used the power of the source of the blue-yellow holy flame to wrap it up. And the corpse pill did not have any intention of escaping, so Xiao Yan was allowed to wrap it like this. Following Xiao Yan's blue-yellow flames, the last trace of the corpse pill's power, at a speed visible to the naked eye, slowly turned into a circle of colorless and transparent power, which was swallowed by the blue-yellow holy flame, and the blue-yellow holy flame was directly swallowed by the blue-yellow holy flame. After this tyrannical power, it suddenly became violent. The power of life and death. Give it to this emperor. At this time, Xiao Yan saw that all the power of the corpse pill had been swallowed up by himself, and victory was just ahead. He couldn't help roaring. At this time, the power of life and death is no longer black and white, but a milky white with a faint power of black and white. Xiao Yan knew that only with the help of the last bit of the corpse pill's power to dissipate the black and in the power of life and death and turn it into a true milky white, the fusion of the fighting core can be carried out. In this last step, success is a breakthrough, and failure is irreversible. Boom boom boom. As Xiao Yan's bluish-yellow flame containing huge energy was injected into the power of life and death, the last trace of black and asterisk that only existed in the power of life and death burst out with a strong resistance. That feeling, as if the force of life and death is telling, we have helped you for so long, yet you actually destroy us like this. Crash. However, Xiao Yan didn't pay any attention to it, guarding his mind. The dazzling power kept pouring in, obliterating it. And within a few breaths of time, the remaining power of black and white, like a heavy rain, quickly faded away. When Xiao Yan saw this scene, he couldn't help laughing and said, at this time, Xiao Yan's fighting chi no longer had any power of life and death, but a milky white color, without any nature. This is the first step of condensing the bucket core, which is the perfect fusion of the power of life and death. Only when the force of life and death is perfectly integrated can the bucket core be condensed. After the bucket core is condensed, its own attribute color can be born. At that time, the milky white light was there will be colors, and it can be called the power of fighting immortals. The next step is the most difficult step. Condense the Do core. Xiao Yan said in a deep voice, and then slowly approached the milky white pseudo-Dozian's power and the compressed Do-Chi group before. Although these two groups have the same fighting spirit, their nature is different. The Do-Chi group is impressively formed by the compression of all Do-Chi during Xiao Yan's Do-Di period. Don't underestimate the size of a mere fist, but its power is probably not dared to be underestimated by the strongest Do-Di peak. And the milky white light formed by just combining the power of life and death is the power of the pseudo-Doshen. Only after the core of the battle is condensed, can the attributes of their respective colors be born. I hope there will be no accident. Xiao Yan said slowly. After speaking, the huge soul force was immediately mobilized, and he went towards the gorgeous fighting chi ball. The gorgeous Do Chi group seemed to notice Xiao Yang's actions, and immediately started to squirm like crazy, trying to escape Xiao Yang's claws. You were originally part of me, and now, it's time to return to your place. After all, this place was enveloped by Xiao Yang's holy flames power barrier, and no matter how the gorgeous Do Chi group escaped, it still couldn't escape Xiao Yang's palm. Death to this emperor! Xiao Yang shouted loudly, and the gorgeous Do Chi group was like a deflated balloon, slowly being enveloped by Xiao Yang's flaming giant hand. Give me in. Seeing to capture the gorgeous Do Chi ball, Xiao Yang did not hesitate at all, and directly suppressed it with the power of the holy flame and the soul power, sending it into the Do Chi Sea. Wong buzzing. Just as the splendid Do Chi group was sent into Xiao Yang's Do Chi Sea, an extremely strong resistance erupted, but Xiao Yang could smell a strange fire from it. The power of the fake Do Xian, it's your turn. Seeing the gorgeous Do Chi mass blending into the sea of Do Chi, Xiao Yang then turned his eyes to the milky white and nearly transparent pseudo Do Xian power in front of him. The power of the fake Do Xian did not hold back at all, allowing Xiao Yang to easily control it, and in just a short moment, it merged into the sea of Do Chi. Do Chi group, the power of pseudo Do Xian. Only when you are fully integrated can you condense the core of the battle. Xiao Yang murmured as he looked at the battle chi ***** that jumped up and down in the battle chi sea and the quiet pseudo-Doshen power. Give it to me. The next moment Xiao Yang shouted loudly, and in the empty sea of fighting chi, blue-yellow flames swept out everywhere, whistling away at the power of the second group. With such an appearance, it is astonishingly trying to force the power of the second regiment to one place, so as to compress and condense the core. Boom boom boom. Looking at Xiao Yang's battle, the gorgeous Do Chi group seemed to sense the danger, and the gorgeous flames also radiated out to resist the erosion of the blue-yellow flames. In the splendid Do Chi mass, there is indeed the smell of strange fire, but the strange fire, under the power of the holy flame, is like a moth fighting a fire, and it is instantly extinguished. Rome for Ben D. Xiao Yang couldn't help laughing as he watched the blue-yellow flames force the second group's strength into a space of about 1 meter. Boom boom boom. At this time, the gorgeous Do Chi group was like a frying pan, wriggling crazily. The power of the fake Do Xian, swallow it for me. Just when the gorgeous Do Chi group became crazy, Xiao Yang let out a loud shout, and the milky white light group immediately swallowed it. Boom. The gorgeous Do Chi group was swallowed up by the power of the pseudo Do Xian, and immediately charged wildly in the body of the pseudo Do Xian, trying to break through the bondage. I won't give you such a chance. The power of double flames, suppress me. Xiao Yang smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth. Among the two holy flame crystals, a pool of cyan liquid and khaki liquid slowly attacked them away. At this moment, the combination of the gorgeous Do Chi group and the power of the pseudo Do Xian turned into a brilliant light spot, and many transformations took place slowly, and once this transformation was completed, it also symbolized the time when Xiao Yang broke through the Do Emperor. After this time, dozens of days have passed. However, Yu Quan, Lei Shi, and a group of people who wanted to hunt for treasure, who were in the Yin Tan, had to withdraw due to the obstruction of Qingyo Tianmu. Even if it is as powerful as Yuchuan, it is still no match for Qingyo Tianmu. After all, this is the territory of Qingyo Tianmu. Mr. Yu, do we have to wait? A follower of the Yu family asked Yu Quan besides Yin Yuetan. Wait. The beast Qingyo Tianmu occupies his own territory, and even I can't do anything about it. I just don't know what kind of luck the Qing family's too awful and that have gone, but they could be put in by Qingyo Tianmu. Although we don't have a chance to enter, the strength of these three guys is only the peak of Do Di. This time, I will take back all the things they got in the Ghost Moon Well, block all the exits of Ying Yuetan, and report any suspicious person immediately. Yu Quan stared at Ying Yuetan in front of him resentfully, and a smile slowly appeared. At this time, in the Yin Yuetan, under the Ghost Moon Well, there are scenes of unknown things happening. It has been a month since Xiao Yang and the three of them retreated. In a month, neither Qing'e nor Qingwen has any signs of going out. From this appearance, it is obvious that Do Xian is not so easy to break through, and Qing'e also seems to want to take advantage of it. That ice-type exercise stabilizes the cold in the body. At this time, in the pill hall, 3 white, red, blue-yellow light arrays slowly stood on one side, and in the blue-yellow light array, there were quite strong fluctuations. Hey, it's been almost a month, and you should have succeeded. At this time, Xiao Yang's slightly closed pupils slowly opened, and there was a dark color in the pupils, like a bottomless abyss. For nearly a month, Xiao Yang has overcome a lot of torture. Among them, there have been many collisions between the gorgeous Do Qi group and the power of the fake Do Xian. If it wasn't for Xiao Yang's holy flame power, I'm afraid he would be really helpless. Boom boom boom. As Xiao Yang's voice just fell, the blue-yellow flames instantly receded in the sea of fighting qi, and the light spot that combined the power of the pseudo-fighting immortal and the gorgeous fighting qi group slowly squirmed. A touch of strong fluctuations slowly radiated out. Xiao Yang felt such a scene and couldn't help but be overjoyed. After all, Xiao Yang knew about this fluctuation for a long time. That is the fluctuation of the power of fighting immortals. After a short while, in the light spot, a strong Do Qi practiced, blasting away frantically in all directions in the Do Qi sea. Finally, it was a success. When Xiao saw this scene, not only did he not have any worries, but a burst of joy appeared on his face, because this appearance was a precursor to the success of Decor's cohesion. Crash. In the short past few breaths, the light around the light spot slowly dissipated, revealing its true face. Do Nu. Xiao Yang stared at the Do Nu that exuded enormous power and lost his voice. Xiao Yang finally succeeded in condensing this bucket core, but this bucket core is like a round bead the size of a dragon's eye. Why is your Do core a little different? The Soul Eater Master said at this time. It's different. Xiao Yang said in surprise when he heard the words. Ordinary bucket cores are basically rectangular strips. This is the first time I've seen your round bucket core. The Soul Eater shook his head and said. Don't worry, let's try the power of Do Nu first. Xiao Yang said softly. According to his guess, this Do Nui has a strange shape, probably related to Fen Ju and Sheng Yang. The power of fighting immortals. Xiao Yang snorted softly, and suddenly a blue-yellow light beam emerged. What a tyrannical power. Xiao Yang just felt this power, but he couldn't help laughing. If Xiao Yang's strength was still at the peak of Do Di, he had the guts to fight against the powerhouses in the early stage of one-star Do Xian. Then at this time Xiao Yang's real strength to be promoted to the initial stage of Do Xian is to be able to compete with one-star Do Xian. The battle of the powerhouses in the middle stage, even the powerhouses in the late stage of one-star fighting immortal is not an exaggeration. This is the tyranny of the power of Do Xian. The tyranny of the power of fighting immortals is not only tyrannical, but also unmatched by the power of life and death. Moreover, the fighting skills that you have performed with the power of Do Xian are undoubtedly much stronger than those you used with the power of life and death before. The Soul Eater said with a smile. If that's the case, it's much better. The strength of Yu Quan, the head of the Yu family, may not be in the early stage of one-star fighting immortal. Originally, it would be quite difficult for me to meet him, but if I meet him this time, I am afraid it will not be difficult to deal with him. Xiao Yang said with satisfaction. Since you have mastered the power and core of fighting immortals, let's meet the main event. The Lord of Soul Eater suddenly smiled maliciously. A real show? Xiao Yang asked in surprise. You feel it carefully. The Soul Eater said with a smile. Fighting immortal tribulation? Xiao Yang sensed it carefully, but his face changed drastically, because at this moment, on the Yinuetan, a rare thundercloud slowly emerged. It is said that the Do Xian tribulation that is promoted to Do Xian is divided into 9 colors. The stronger the force, the stronger the Do Xian calamity. In addition, this kid has the increase of holy flame. I am afraid it will attract 9 colors. Color is not too much. It's just that it is said that there is a more terrifying fighting immortal tribulation on top of the 9-colored fighting immortal tribulation, but it has not appeared for a long time. The Lord of Soul Eater slowly shook his head. Boom boom boom. The originally sunny Yinuetan, but the sky suddenly changed at this time, and lightning streaks above the Yinuetan, and the above of the Yinuetan was also covered by thunderclouds. Looking around, there are 7 thunderclouds in total. Above the 7, each thundercloud has a different color. However, this is not the end. The thundercloud is still rolling, as if there is a more terrifying thundercloud coming. Emerge. Someone is fighting immortal robbery. Yu Quan, who was originally guarding outside Yinuetan and preparing to hunt down Xiao Yang and the 3, was looking at the terrifying thundercloud above the sky, and a trace of horror could not help but emerge from the corner of his eyes. Although his Yuchuan's current strength is in the middle stage of the 1-star battle of immortals, he did not pass the 6-colored battle of immortal tribulation when he crossed the battle of immortal tribulation. This colorful is not over yet, because the thundercloud is still tumbling violently. Hey, he really deserves to be a human being favored by the king of all beasts, such a talent. In Yinuetan, Qingyo Tianmu slowly floated above the water, looking at the incomparable tyranny above the sky, with the power of destruction fighting immortal tribulation, said with a smile. It's just a pity that my origin Tianmu, otherwise, I can still give this human a favor, only because it was taken away by the evil pharmacist. After the Qingyo Tianmu spirit beast finished speaking, it slowly sank into the water. Boom. The thunder boomed, as if the sky was collapsing and the earth was torn apart. One after another huge thunder continued to emerge above Yinuetan, as if looking for a target, but after a long time, no target was found, and it rushed back to Leiyun. Among them, the thundercloud also became more and more splendid under such repetition. At this time, above the thunder cloud of Dozian tribulation, there are already as many as 8 colors. Even if this is the case, it is still not finished. The 8 thunderclouds are strangely surrounded by a circle, and the center of the circle is, the thunder that changed the color of the world slowly was born, as if a more terrifying thunder cloud seemed to be brewing. What a monster! When Yu Quan below saw this scene, a trace of jealousy appeared on the corner of his mouth. Because he knows that the higher the intensity of the immortal fighting tribulation he has passed, it also proves that his potential in the future is limitless. Just by passing through the 6-colored immortal fighting tribulation, he will be able to have a high position in the Ghost King Chengyu's family. As for the Ghost King city, the big man among them is going through the colorful battle of immortal robbery. And those who can survive the 8-colored immortal tribulation are undoubtedly not the overlords of a small world. As for the 9-colored, I am afraid they can already be the best in the entire Li Soul realm. As for the legendary Do immortal tribulation, which is more powerful than the 9-colored Do immortal tribulation, from ancient times to the present, in their entire Li Soul domain, only the master of Li Spirit has achieved that. But who is the Lord of Li Soul? In the Ghost World, in addition to the real power in the center of the Ghost World, the Lord of Li Soul can be said to be the only one who exists in the entire Ghost World. But this guy in front of him actually attracted 8-colored thunderclouds, which made Yu Quan want to kill. The strength of Do Xian Jie symbolizes the potential for future achievements. The Lord of Li Soul has proved this very well, so Yu Quan will never let this guy grow up. I don't know if it's Xiao Yang or that kid from the Qing family. No matter who you are, this time, I won't let you go back alive. After Yu Quan finished speaking, he slowly calmed down. What a strong fluctuation. At this time, Xiao Yang was in the Gyujing Pill Hall. Through perception, he found the 8-colored thundercloud above Yinuetan, and couldn't help but say with a dignified expression. The tyrannical level of these 8-colored thunderclouds was much more tyrannical than Xiao Yang's previous refining pills. At this moment, Xiao Yang had to take it seriously. Xiao Yang was warned a lot by the Soul Eater Lord about the horror of Dozian Jie. How could there be any eggs under the nest? Senior, is there a way to transfer this thundercloud to my holy flame space? Xiao Yang thought for a while before speaking. Because he knew that the 8-color thundercloud might not be able to reach his limit. If he accidentally jumped out a 9-color thundercloud, and there were many people here, he might cause him a lot of trouble. Just said this. Moreover, after the battle of immortal tribulation, Xiao Yang had to devour the wood attribute in Tianmu Awakening. Obviously, it was impossible to leave the Pill Palace. After all, only the mysterious place of the Pill Palace was the best place to retreat and practice. Once he left here, there is no such good opportunity. Small issue. It's up to me. Soul Eater naturally knew Xiao Yang's concerns, and said softly. The next moment, the figure of Soul Eater disappeared like a ghost, and after a while, he was wriggling beside the 8-color thundercloud, and he waved his palm lightly at the 8-color thundercloud, and suddenly the 8-color thundercloud seemed to be affected. Frightened, it was directly absorbed by the Lord of Soul Eater. The next moment, the Master of Soul Eater squirmed in the holy flame space in Xiao Yang's body, and then the 8-color thundercloud was brought back completely by him. With such a move, the Yuchuan standing above Yinuetan didn't show any clues, and the 8-color thundercloud disappeared, but they dissipated because they thought it was the failure of the transcendence. What a terrifying method. Xiao Yang couldn't help but exclaimed, but the next moment, looking at the 8-color thundercloud full of danger in the holy flame space, he didn't think about other things, his mind sank, and he directly urged the burning dual and fighting nucleus, mobilizing all the power in the body. He also wants to see how many tribulations he can trigger. Boom boom boom. The thundercloud in the holy flame space was continuously sent out with extremely huge fluctuations, as if trying to obliterate Xiao Yang, let him know that there is only one end to dare to use the body of a mortal to cross the calamity of immortals. Fall. Gulu-gulu. In just a few breaths, in the center of the circle surrounded by the 8-color thunderclouds, a splendid thundercloud burst out. Just after the thundercloud came out, Xiao Yang shuddered, because he could smell an irresistible wave from the 9th color thundercloud. 9-color fighting immortal robbery. Xiao Yan couldn't help but muttered, obviously to deal with this 9-color fighting immortal robbery, I am afraid it would be quite difficult to use all his powers. Don't worry, try to activate your third holy flame. Just when Xiao Yang was about to withdraw his hand and was about to cross the calamity, the Soul Eater said. Ah! Hearing this, Xiao Yang was stunned. This 9-colored immortal tribulation alone would make him feel like a great enemy. If it were a more powerful immortal tribulation, I'm afraid. Do you know the Lord of Li Soul? The Lord of Soul Eater looked at Xiao Yang's doubtful eyes and said lightly. The mighty figure in the ghost world, the master of the spirit realm, and the enemy of your predecessors, Xiao Yang said. He has survived the 10-color battle of immortal tribulation. The Soul Eater's voice was filled with regret and said. What? He has survived the 10-colored immortal tribulation? Xiao Yang couldn't help but asked in surprise. When he was promoted to Dozian, he survived the 10-color Dozian tribulation, and then his training was like sitting on a rocket, and he was able to achieve his current status. Although I don't dare to say that his potential is related to the immortal fighting tribulation, but I think you should give it a try and give it a try. Even if you fail, there is still me. With me here, nothing will happen to you. At the end of the sentence, the Soul Eater said decisively, his voice full of seriousness and rare unquestionable. 10-colored fighting for immortal robbery. Xiao Yang stared at the increasingly bright 9-color thundercloud in the holy flame space, but a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. How strong is the power of 10 colors? Xiao Yang asked. Do not know. However, in the last 9-colored half-fighting immortal tribulation that I survived, I was seriously injured, and it took me several years to recover before I recovered. Although you have holy flame in your body, the power of the 10-colored fighting immortal tribulation is probably still devastating to you. However, what is certain is that it will be a good thing for your future cultivation to survive the 10-color battle. From time immemorial to the present, only the Master of the Soul in the entire ghost world knows that he has survived the 10-color battle of immortal tribulation. The Master of the Soul Eater said. It's really hard to ride a tiger. Xiao's eyes were uncertain, obviously hesitant. Everything is up to you. The Soul Eater looked at Xiao Yang, who was in deep thought, and said slowly. The Lord of Soul Eater was very hopeful that Xiao Yang would overcome the 10-colored immortal tribulation, but he also knew that forcing one person too hard might only be worth the loss. 10-colored fighting immortal robbery. I'll give it a try. When Soul Eater was a little discouraged, Xiao Yang laughed, and the laughter was clearly filled with an unruly and frightening atmosphere. You brat. Seeing Xiao Yang's appearance, the Master of Soul Eater seemed a little dumbfounded. What the Master of Soul Li can achieve, I, Xiao Yang, can naturally also. Moreover, I might have to seek revenge from the Master of Soul Li in the future. Xiao Yang smiled, with a faint smile in his voice. I didn't expect that my dignified Soul Eater would be so manipulated by a human kid. Upon seeing the Soul Eater, the soul hidden in the Soul Eater couldn't help but tremble viciously and muttered. Now that you're ready, let's start. Xiao Yang looked at the 9-color thunderclouds in the holy flame space, and he knew that if he dragged on like this, he probably wouldn't have the chance to trigger the 10-color battle of immortal tribulation. Ing-ying. Xiao Yang's body burned to the extreme, and then the circle of terrifying fiery red dough immortal power stored in the circular Do Chi Si in the Do Chi Si kept staring at the 9-color thundercloud. Boom boom boom. With the injection of Xiao Yang's Dozian power, the 9-color thundercloud suddenly became violent and restless, and vaguely wanted to launch a fatal blow on Xiao Yang. Huoxin Tianyang, come out. Ghost Face and Soul Flame, come out. In the next second, two of dazzling flames in the body that purify all evils in the world rushed directly towards the holy flame space. Boom boom boom. With the addition of Xiao Yang's power of fighting immortals and the power of the second group of holy flames, the 9-colored thundercloud was like a frightened bird, extremely restless. 9-colored thunderclouds are not one piece, but 9 pieces. 1-colored thunderclouds have 1 color, while 9-colored thunderclouds have as many as 9 colors. The 9 thunderclouds emerged from Xiao Yang's tyrannical force, and immediately in the center of the 9 thunderclouds, it seemed that something was slowly brewing. Ing-ying. Seeing that such tyrannical power was still not enough to trigger the 10th color thundercloud, Xiao Yang slowly put his hands on his chest and then murmured softly. And Xiao Yang's heart seemed to be called by Xiao Yang. The next moment, the bright blue flame was like a world-annihilating fire, which emerged directly from Xiao Yang's chest. Into the sky. Boom. And with the power of the 3 holy flames and Xiao Yang's power of fighting immortals, the 9 thunderclouds standing above the sky were completely quiet. Thunderclouds also have a lot of wisdom, and they will give birth to corresponding thunderclouds according to the strength of the robbers. And the stronger the strength, the stronger the Dozian tribulation, which is also the reason why there were many strong people stuck at the peak of Dodi in the Xian Santian period and could not break through. Gulu Gulu. With Xiao Yang's huge handwriting, the 9 thunderclouds stood quietly at the top of the holy flame space, and then formed a circle, and muffled thunder sounded one after another in the center of the circle, as if 9 thunderclouds in the face of the arrival of a more powerful master. Well done. Then just wait quietly for the coming of the 10-colored fighting immortal tribulation. The Lord of Soul Eater couldn't help saying, looking at the terrifying fluctuations above. With his perception, he knew that the reason why the 9 thunderclouds were so quiet at this time was to welcome the 10-colored thunderclouds that were about to be born. Senior, how did you overcome this immortal tribulation? Xiao Yang asked with some doubts. Fighting immortal tribulation is divided into 1 to 10 colors. For every color, you need to be whipped by a thundercloud. The Soul Eater said lightly. That is to say, how many times of calamity and immortal tribulations are triggered, just how many thunderstorms need to be met. Xiao Yang said with difficulty, swallowing a sip of saliva from his dry throat. That's right. You have caused a 10-color battle of immortals, so naturally you need to be beaten by 10 thunders. The Soul Eater said with a smile. I'll be darling. Xiao Yang said somewhat dumbly. Obviously, the pressure on him from the 9 thunderclouds in front of him should not be underestimated. Don't worry, although the power of the Shutsai fighting immortal tribulation is not bad, I believe you can handle it. It's about to start, the first one. As soon as the voice of the Master of Soul Eater fell, suddenly outside the circular center surrounded by 9 thunderclouds, a wave of fluctuations slowly emerged from the thunderclouds, and a wave about touching Xiao, an arm-sized thunderbolt, was slowly born. Boom boom boom. Without waiting for Xiao Yang to react, the thunder flashed all over his body and directly attacked Xiao Yang. Boom boom boom. The first thunderous attack fell directly on Xiao Yang, and then dissipated. No, so weak. And Xiao Yang didn't feel anything just now, just felt as if a breeze was blowing in front of him. The immortal fighting tribulation is naturally extremely small at the beginning, but each thunder tribulation will increase its power by a geometric multiple. The Soul Eater explained. According to my current physical strength, I'm afraid I need to use strength to resist if I can hold the 6-colored thundercloud. If you practice the 9 transformations of the Dragon God, I'm afraid your physical strength will be even higher. It seems that you will have to find time to practice when you go out from here. Xiao Yang said in a deep voice. Hulala. While Xiao Yang was thinking, the second thunder calamity was fleeting. No pain or itching at this time. The third way. Slightly sour. Fourth way. He could feel the destructive power of the thunder flow, but he didn't have any pressure on Xiao Yang. The fifth way. He put some pressure on Xiao Yang, but he was still able to take it easily with the tyranny of his body. The sixth, as if hitting a solid wall, although the pressure was not small, it was still resisted by Xiao Yang. The seventh way. It was not until the 7th thunder calamity that Xiao Yang's face moved slightly. Obviously, even he could smell an extremely terrifying aura from the 100-jong-sized thunder calamity. Boom boom boom. With all the power of Dozian, he was able to resist the 7th thunder tribulation in front of him. If Xiao Yang's physical strength was the same as that of ordinary people, he would have already fallen under the 7th thunder tribulation. But don't forget, Xiao Yang's body, when he was in Dudi continent, was nourished by the blood of various monsters, even the heavenly demon Wind Clan and Taishu ancient dragon. With the addition of many blessings from Xiao Yang's blood power, his body the strength is already quite terrifying, and when he came to Dodi continent, he was forged by holy flames, and his body strength was extraordinary. The 8th path. At this time, Xiao Yang looked up with a solemn expression. Only 8-colored thunderclouds and 9-colored thunderclouds were left, and the pressure increased greatly. Originally, after each thundercloud attacked, it was absorbed by the circular vortex. Xiao Yang didn't have to think about it. He knew that the vortex must have gathered the power of the colorful thundercloud. If you can't catch a 9-colored thundercloud, there is no need for a 10-colored thundercloud in that case. Let's come together. Xiao Yang laughed loudly, and then the dazzling power of fighting immortals attacked him directly. And being attacked by Xiao Yang like this, a dazzling ray of light emerged from the 8-colored thundercloud and the 9-colored thundercloud, and then the two merged into one, a 1,000-jong thunderbeam that made Xiao Yang's scalp tingle. Slowly it exploded in the sky. Crackling. Thunder's whistling voice was like a ghost, and it was exceptionally loud. The mere 8-colored and 9-colored thunderclouds want me to submit. The power of fighting immortals. Protect your body. The power of double flames. Protect your body, Xiao Yang shouted loudly, and then burst out. Boom boom boom. The next moment, the thousand Zhonglei Jie did not give Xiao Yang any chance to breathe, and descended directly from the sky, flying down like a harvesting the lives of mortal. The collision between the electric, light and flint finally ended with Xiao Yang taking dozens of steps back. However, a trace of blood appeared at the corner of Xiao Yang's mouth. Obviously, although he resisted the 8-colored thundercloud and the 9-colored thundercloud teamed up. But it also paid a very heavy price. The 10th color. Before Xiao Yang could breathe, the 8-colored thundercloud and 9-colored thundercloud were directly sucked in by the huge vortex in the sky, and then a touch of silver thunder with thick fingers touching Xiao Yang, slowly emerged from the vortex. Fall off. At the same time, the Soul Eater, who had been silent for a long time, shouted loudly, "How could it be possible? This is the fluctuation of the realm, damn it. How could this 10th color battle immortal robbery be an attack that touched the realm? I didn't feel it when I experienced the 9-colored Bandu immortal tribulation, damn it." The Soul Eater scolded loudly, his voice full of seriousness. The strongest fighting immortal tribulation is indeed well deserved. Xiao Yang's body was already a little embarrassed by the attacks of the 8-colored thundercloud and the 9-colored thundercloud. At this time, he was facing the strongest one. Said. Because of Xiao Yang's perception, he suddenly discovered that since the appearance of this silver thunder calamity, Xiao Yang's control over the holy flame, and even the control of the holy flame space, seems to have been cut off abruptly. It seems that this silver thunder is the real master of this space, and Xiao Yang just broke into his own territory and was punished for offending others. Xiao Yang, we won't accept this 10-color catastrophe, let's go. And the Master of Soul Eater couldn't help but his voice suddenly changed, full of urgency. The Lord of Soul Eater is very clear. If it wasn't for the support of the power of Holy Flame, I am afraid that Xiao Yang's limit would be the 8th color thunder tribulation. If Yang insists on taking it, I am afraid that both body and spirit will be destroyed. The strength of Do immortal tribulation is that it will turn into a cocoon and turn into a butterfly if it is passed. If it fails, it will be a real fall. The body and even the soul will be turned into ashes under the tribulation of 10 colors. Even if an archangel descends, using the resurrection magic will not help. No way, it seems that this guy is determined and can't get through with me. Xiao Yang shrugged helplessly, he could sense it. It was easy to draw out the catastrophe of the 10 colors, and if he wanted to dissipate it after drawing it out, there was no other way but hard connection. Damn. And the Soul Eater also cursed secretly. Only when he reached his level did he know how terrifying the realm was. And this 10-color catastrophe is a fluctuation that contains the laws of the domain. If Xiao Yang insists on taking it, I am afraid there is no way to do it except to fall. Here it is. The silver 10-color catastrophe paused for a while, isolating all of Xiao Yang's fire attribute power, and then swept towards Xiao Yang rather slowly. And every time the 10-color catastrophe swept through a space, the holy flame space showed signs of fragmentation. From this, it was enough to see how huge the power contained in this 10-color catastrophe. And Xiao Yang's heart seemed to sense that Xiao Yang was in danger. It beat at high speed, and circles of blue flames emerged, trying to protect Xiao Yang. Crackling. But the azure flame just emerged, and it was instantly dissipated by the heaven-shaking sound from the 10-colored tribulation. Even so, the azure flame continued to emerge. An azure flame emerged to try to protect Xiao Yang, and then instantly disappeared under the pressure of the 10-colored tribulation. Soul Eater, trust me. I still have a lot of things to do. If I don't have enough strength, I'll just die. In the 3 days of Xian, I have experienced the powerlessness of lack of strength once, and I will not experience it one by one. So this tribulation of 10 colors, I have to pass. Xiao Yang's eyes slowly closed, and when he opened it, a dazzling fighting intent was radiated. This fighting intent was never seen by the Soul Eater after that. On the forehead, there is also a hidden mysterious pattern that slowly brightens up, and it is the power of the family pattern. That's what you want. And the Master of Soul Eater was not good at saying anything, and said to Xiao Yang that no matter what, the Master of Soul Eater would protect Xiao Yang's last life. Ying, take a break. The rest, leave it to me. Xiao Yang rubbed his heart lightly with his palm, and then the beating of his heart slowed down, and the blue flame also stopped surging. Let me, Xiao Yang, come to know what your 10-color power is. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, the only power of fighting immortals that could be mobilized in the whole body emerged, and then wrapped his whole body, holding his hand into a fist, facing the 10-color power. The robbery attacked away, and in the clan lines on the forehead, it seemed that something was about to shatter. Don't think that this punch is quite simple. but the power contained in it, I am afraid that the powerhouse in the early stage of one-star fighting immortal will be seriously injured in an instant if you are not careful. Boom boom boom. Xiao Yang's attack landed on the tribulation of 10 colors impartially, but when he touched it, he was restrained by an irresistible wave. Damn. Xiao Yang couldn't help but said with a pale face. Above the silver thunder calamity, small silver thunders wrapped it, but on top of each thunder, there was a power that could easily destroy Xiao Yang. In the next moment, a tiny shred of thunder from the 10-colored tribulation poured directly into Xiao Yang's body, trying to completely obliterate Xiao Yang from the inside out, so as to let him know the tyranny of the 10-colored tribulation. Just as the thunderbolt poured into his body, a sense of anesthesia came. It was obvious that such a powerful thunderbolt force numbed almost all of Xiao Yang's senses just by seeing each other. Get out of here. With a loud shout, blood spurted directly from his mouth, mobilizing the power of his soul, the power of fighting immortals to drive away the silver thunder, but it still failed. Bang bang bang. Silver thunder ignored Xiao Yang, and instead moved towards the depths of Xiao Yang's body. Seeing this battle, it was obvious that he wanted to break Xiao Yang's brain center and completely destroy Xiao Yang. Get out of here. A scream emerged from Xiao Yang's mouth, and on Xiao Yang's forehead, the Xiao family's clan lines covered with mysterious lines slowly appeared, but the clan lines at this time the above is rendered by Xiao Yang's blood, which is quite strange. Even Xiao Yang didn't notice before that, under the influence of blood and the power of fighting immortals, 10 circles of rather small golden lines appeared slowly in addition to the clan lines. Alas, it still won't work. The Soul Eater Lord didn't take action for a long time. Knowing this time, he couldn't help but say, "Wait, what's the situation? Why is this guy slowly waking up with a force stronger than my peak period? How could it be possible?" The Soul Eater just wanted to make a move, but he felt a change. "My son of the Xiao clan can also be obliterated by your mere celestial people." An extremely arrogant voice suddenly burst out from the clan lines on Xiao Yang's forehead. "Ten Yama, the guardian of the Xiao clan, you are not dead." Hearing this voice, there was also a humanized exclamation in the 10-colored tribulation. Bang bang bang. And with the appearance of this voice, the tribulation of the 10-colored fighting immortals shattered. And Xiao Yang's figure fell weak in an instant, but on the forehead, in addition to Xiao Yang's blood-colored clan pattern, there were 10 small ancient golden lines, which protected the Xiao clan pattern. It's just that Xiao Yang didn't know that these 10 ancient lines were the 10 Yamas of their Xiao clan's protectors. Far away, in the center of the heavens. Lord Heavenly Emperor, there is a guy in the ghost world who caused the 10-colored battle of immortal tribulation, but when the immortal tribulation was about to kill him at the end, he was blocked by 10 forces. Those 10 powers are a bit like the 10 temples of the protector of the Xiao clan who were scattered in the Great Thousand World. A thin and yellow figure respectfully said to a man with a full head beside him. Xiao clan. It's really an ancient name. We celestial beings have been living in seclusion in the center of the celestial world for too long. We should send people down to Earth to understand the current pattern of the 7 realms. Also, be careful of the guy in the center of the human world. They seem to be plotting something. After the silver-haired Heavenly Emperor finished speaking, he slowly disappeared into a stream of light. And far away in the center of the human world, in the silent hall. My lord, I found that the breath of the 10 Yamas of the Xiao clan appeared in the ghost world. A silver light uttered slightly. Tell me the realm masters of the Sifong continent of Emperor Do, if he can't find the 10 temple Yama, let him pay for it with his life. A domineering and sideways voice instantly scattered the silver light. Xiao clan. No matter how grand you are, you will eventually fall into the hands of the center of our human world. Of course you are the heroes of the Great Thousand World War, but you are clinging to the secret of advancing to the God of War. If it is not for the order of the World Master, I am afraid that the God of War of the Xiao family can't protect you. However, even though all of your clansmen are imprisoned, we still can't ask the secret of advancing to Doshin, but I believe that as long as we find the 10 Temple Yama, we can ask the location of Paradise Lost. Isn't it easy to be promoted to the God of War? At that time, how can the evil races outside the area be the opponents of the many fighting gods in the center of our human world? Ha ha ha. In the silent palace, crazy laughter echoed, and over time. This video will end here.